If there's one thing that separates average athletes from iconic athletes, is their confidence. Think about it for a second. When you're confident, you're able to dominate. And when you're able to dominate, you're not overthinking things. Now, when you lack confidence, what really holds you back from being at your absolute best is letting go and performing to your full potential. AKA, you lack confidence, you overthink things, you don't trust yourself. What you normally were doing before, you weren't doing anymore. All of this is a result of confidence. And if you want to be an athlete who dominates at that next level, you need to understand the 4 dangers that hold you back from when you don't have your confidence and what you can do on a daily basis to build it. So, in today's video, we're going to be covering exactly that. So sit back and get ready to dive in. Hey, my name is Matt Calderoni, co-founder of Molliteum, where we help athletes discover and reach their true potential by building their resilience. And since 2015, we've helped just over 5,300 athletes from the youth to professional level in leagues like the NHL, NFL, NBA, and so many more, with players like Kyle Kuzma, Larry Markkinen, DJ Reed, Dylan Cousins, and many, many others. And the reason that we started this YouTube channel is because I used to be a pro athlete, I failed at this stuff, and I don't want you to make the same mistakes. Now, before we dive into any of these dangers, you have to understand this. Confidence is something that you need to build on a daily basis. At the pro level, at the top level, even at the level that you're at, it's going to ebb and flow. Like you can see right here, there's going to be days that it's higher and days that it's lower, times that it's peaking and times that it's dwelling. The point is this though, you as an athlete have to understand your one job, yes, it's to win and do all that as a byproduct. Your job, though, as an athlete is to keep your craft sharp, your skills sharp. Think of it. Steph Curry said, I'm not somebody who's a great 3-ball shooter or playmaker in the NBA. I'm somebody who's a master craftsman at shooting 3 balls and a master craftsman at passing the ball. This is the mentality behind confidence. So if you're going to be somebody who masters this, you need to understand what really goes into it. And there's 2 things. Number 1, there's certainty. And like you can see here, certainty comes from actually mastering a skill. Confidence, on the other side, comes from actually mastering a situation. Now, if you want to build them, you actually need both. Number 1, like you can see here, you need to have the certainty behind your skills, and that actually comes from mental practice. This is where you hear a lot of athletes doing visualization or imagery or film watching. It helps build that certainty in their skills. The second part to this equation, though, is once you know you have the skills, you need to then go train yourself in those specific situations, aka with physical practice. This is where you build your confidence. When you see that you can get the result in practices and you practice at an intensity that matches game day, you then build that confidence because of it. You say, hey, I have the skills that I need, I'm certain in those skills, I've applied them now, and I'm getting the results that I want. So, with that being said, we're going to teach you today the exact 4 things you need to do on a daily basis if you're going to build that confidence. But before we do that, I actually want to dive into the 4 dangers that happen as a result of not building your confidence so you can see where you're at and you can see you can fix them quickly. So let's start off with understanding the 4 dangers that go into not having confidence. Now, this actually was kicked off by an NBA player we were working with this past week. He came to me and said, Matt, I'm feeling anxious going into games. I'm not trusting myself like I was before. I kind of feel like I've fallen off. What's going on? And we said, hey, how's your confidence like? And he goes, well, you know what? To be honest with you, it's not that high right now. It's later in the season. I don't have as much time, especially at the pro level, to practice and work on the skills that I did before. I just feel like it's plummeting. So like I said before, he wasn't keeping that confidence sharp. So we noticed it by these 4 things happening. Number 1, overthinking situations. Number 2, questioning skills that you would have been confident in before. Number 3, getting anxious. And number 4, comparing yourself to other people. So let's talk about why each of these happen. Number 1, you'll overthink things when you're actually not trusting in the work that you put in. So like the NBA player, like I mentioned, they didn't have as much time naturally with all the travel and such that was happening to practice on a daily basis. So what happens is you might know that you have the skills, but you're not trusting them because you're not applying them consistently at an intensity that matches game day. That's the first thing. Second thing, when you aren't trusting in your skills specifically and you're overthinking those skills, it's because you're not putting in the mental work. So you might actually be physically practicing like this NBA player. He would do his shoot around in the mornings, but he didn't have time at the time to do the mental work. He didn't do the visualization and the mental reps and all that kind of good stuff that we'll talk about that allowed him to build certainty. So that's usually what happens. If you're somebody who's practicing a lot but still not trusting yourself, it's because you need the mental side. Now, the other 2 are a result of the first 2. The anxiousness and the comparing to others are a result of this. So the reason that you get anxious is because you feel like you're going into a game that's way above what you've prepared for, and you get anxious as a result of that and all the pressure that comes with it. Now, you compare to other people simply because you're not putting in the work and trusting yourself. So you think by looking at others, comparing to others, you as a result of that are going to find a way to get to where they are, when really the truth is you need to work on your skills. So these 4 dangers are the things that come up when you lack confidence. Let's talk now on what you need to do every single day if if you want to build your confidence. Number one, you need to visualize every single day. This is going to be the easiest thing that you can do and start doing immediately, especially if you're cut for time. So like our NBA player, all we had him do was visualizing before he went to bed on the specific skills that he wasn't trusting. So here's what you're going to do in the process that we follow with all of our athletes if you want to start visualizing properly. Number one, you need to first understand which situation you need to be more confident in. So for our NBA player, he needed to be more confident in shooting a three ball when somebody was coming at him. Number two, you're then going to break that situation down into 1 to 2 skills that you can start to master. Remember I told you like Steph Curry, he goes, I've mastered three ball shooting and I've mastered passing a basketball. You need to understand what it is too. So for our NBA player, obviously it was shooting a three ball. That was skill number one. And then skill number two was shooting that three ball under pressure. So once you break it down, you're going to do these 3 things. Number one, you're going to start by describing the perfect technique behind the basic skill. So for our NBA player, it was this. I need to make sure my feet are set, I'm pulling up, I'm getting that flick in my wrist, and I'm landing with a sturdy surface, meaning that I'm going in there, I'm shooting the three ball perfectly, and I'm landing perfectly. That's the basic technique. The second thing is, you then need to describe that basic technique, but with the challenge. So for him, he described the exact same thing, but now he goes, I need to see myself doing it when somebody's running at me or there's pressure on me. And then number 3, you need to see yourself doing the basic technique plus the challenge in the game itself. So for him, he goes, hey, I need to see myself shooting that three ball with pressure coming at me in the game environment that I'm going to be in. So what this turns into now are your 3 sets of visualizations. And what you're going to do for each one, you're going to sit there and visualize it perfectly happening 10 times. So 10 times shooting the basic three ball with perfect technique, and you're going to feel it. 10 times shooting the three ball with pressure on you, and you're going to feel it. 10 times visualizing yourself shooting the basic three ball with a defender on you in a game, and you're going to feel it. The key though is to make sure that you're not just seeing yourself doing it, but you're actually feeling it in your body as if you're doing it yourself. That feeling allows you to get put into your nervous system. You build what are called neuroassociations, and these neuroassociations are what allow you to go into a game with AKA not thinking, or at a scientific level, that muscle memory. So to do this, we actually made it very simple for you. We linked the visualization or mental reps audio track down below that we use with all of our pro athletes. Simply write out your situations and then follow that audio track, and it will guide you there. It takes you through a whole process of breathing and visualizing so that we can guarantee your results. Number 2, you need to practice those skills that you're visualizing every single day. Now, we do this with every single one of our pro athletes, and it's very simple. All you're going to do now is take those situations, those 3 situations you're visualizing, and actually physically go practice them. You're now building that confidence behind it. And the key to this is the following: intensity. If you don't have intensity going into each situation and you're just shooting a ball to shoot a ball, for example, it's not going to translate into the game. The intensity and the urgency is what allows it to translate. So with our NBA player, we actually had him doing 10 minutes for each one in his morning shoot-arounds, where we had him doing 10 minutes of perfect three-ball shooting with the intensity and urgency that he would use in a game. 10 minutes of three-ball shooting against a defender that was running at him, or in this case, his coach, where he was doing that for 10 minutes as well to make sure it would translate to the game. And then 10 minutes of doing the exact same thing, game intensity, game pace. Not much changed, obviously. It was kind of like a repetition of the second set, simply because there were no fans around him. But mentally, he was pretending there were fans around him, which allowed him to translate into a game. So the reason that this worked, and the reason it's going to work for you, is because now that you're visualizing it and physically practicing, you're combining the certainty and the skill, plus you're doing it with the intensity and urgency of game time. So keep it simple. If you have a lot of practices throughout the week, you can do 5 minutes for each. Or if you don't have as many and you want to be like our NBA player, you can do 10 minutes a day for each. The key is this though. It's going to take you anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes. When you're doing this, you must make sure that you have that intensity that's going to match game time, or it will not translate. Stick to it. Do it away from the team. Do it alone. Don't do it during a practice. Do it after your practice or before. That way you can get the practice down that you need. Number 3, you need to be watching film on these skills daily. Now, the key to it is the following. You don't want to just be watching yourself if you have the privilege right now or the opportunity to get your own game film. What you want to do is find those role models you were watching before this all happened to make sure you go back to the things you were doing before that made you successful or confident. So with our NBA player, we didn't have him just watching film on himself. He can definitely do that. Instead, we had him watch film first on the people that he used to watch growing up. That allowed him to get back into that mindset and that right, proper form that he was using before. Then we had him look at his film compared to his role models and say, hey, where am I going wrong? This allowed him to stay confident. This allowed him to find the details. This allowed him to reflect, and he could add that to his game. Now, the key is you don't want to copy exactly what your role models are doing. Instead, you want to look for them, see what they're doing, and see where maybe you're missing that same kind of process in your game. That will allow you to say, hey, I've noticed when this individual is shooting, he has more of a straight back. That's what I used to do. This actually happened with one of our NCAA players. He goes, man, the reason I wasn't able to hit my 3-ball actually wasn't anything to do with the simple fact other than I wasn't keeping my back straight like I was before. Instead of pulling up and coming down just straight up and down, I was leaning forwards too much. That one little nuance allowed him to do better. So take your time, find your role models, watch film on it daily. And the last step, you need to reflect on your progress daily. So many times athletes do all this work and they don't take the time to note down where their progress is happening. I'm telling you, a simple journal or a note in your phone can save you wonders when it comes to losing confidence. So what you need to do is this, on a daily basis, in a phone or in a journal. I'm a journal guy. Most of our athletes are journal people too, simply because of the fact that that pen to paper just hits differently than taking a note in your phone. But I also understand if you're on the road constantly, you're constantly going and the one thing you have is your phone, that works too. What you want to do is this though, 3 questions you're going to answer. Number 1, what did I do well today? Number 2, where did I progress with my skills today? Number 3, what can I tweak to make better tomorrow? If you keep answering these questions, here's what it's going to do. Number 1, you're going to get those small wins out. Number 2, you're going to notice your progress. And number 3, you're going to keep innovating. That's what these questions do. Now, where it works, especially on game days, you now have this beautiful log of all the work you've been doing. And because you have this beautiful log, that confidence is going to go through the roof. You're going to sit there and say, wow, you know what? Look at this. Monday, I hit my shots. Tuesday, I hit my shots. Wednesday, I'm seeing I'm progressively getting better. And because of that, I'm feeling more confident going into game time. And there you have it, the 4 dangers of not building your confidence and the 4 things you need to do on a daily basis to make sure that you're keeping that confidence nice and high. Just remember what I said at the start of this video. Your job as an athlete is to get results as a byproduct of keeping your confidence sharp daily. That's how the best in the world think at that next level. Don't worry about the results. Simply make sure that you are keeping your tools sharp so in game time, you're feeling like $1,000,000. Now, with that being said, if you got value from this video, please like, subscribe, click the notification bell, share the video. It helps us grow in the algorithm. Comment down below if there's something else that you also do as well to build your confidence. We would love to hear from you. And if you're an athlete that's serious about taking their game to the next level and you want to work with us here and build your mental game, simply apply for our coaching program down below. It's a one-on-one coaching program where we do only take on 2 athletes per week, and we do have limited spots available for how many athletes we can take on. If you feel like this is something for you and something that you want to explore to take your game to the next level, click the link down below, apply, and we'll see if you're a good fit. Serious inquiries only. With that being said, stay resilient, and we'll see you in the next video. So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the full podcast episode, click right here.